Hey brother, thanks for being here. I'm in Costa Rica, and in this video I want to talk about how we can develop a fear of abandonment and how we can drag that fear into our marriage, into our work, and into our life. So when I was a child, my mother left my stepfather several times. She would, during the day when he was at work, she would pack up everything. She would take all of her clothes out of the closet. She'd take all the money out of the bank and she would leave. She would pack everything into a Pinto and she would hit the road. And she did this out of frustration. She did this out of fear. She did this out of not being happy in her marriage. But as a child, it was exceptionally distressing because we would get on the road and then at some point she would turn to me as an 8, 9, 10-year-old child and say, "What should I do?" She would stop on the side of the road, she would break down in tears, and she would ask me to be a parent, to be an adult, to tell her how she should live her life. She was confused, she was hurt, she didn't know what to do. And it was something that at the time I didn't fully understand as a child. All I knew as a little boy who loved his mother was that I just didn't want to see her cry, and that I wanted to tell her whatever she needed to hear for her to be okay. And so many times this happened, clearing out the bank account, clearing out the clothes, packing up the Pinto, hitting the road. And it unconsciously developed in me a fear of being abandoned, a fear that if I didn't do things right, that if I didn't please my wife, that somehow she was going to leave me, that she would abandon me. And that was something that I drug into my adult life. It was something that I drug into my marriage. It wasn't something that I actively blamed my wife for, but it was something that I was actively looking for signs of, fear, always checking her, temperature checking her, asking her questions like, "Are you okay? How you doing? You feeling all right? Is life, how's life going?" Right? Like really just trying to know where she was. And what I didn't understand at the time was I wasn't asking her if she was okay. I was actually asking her if I was okay. And this was something that was unknown to me. I didn't really realize these things, how these events affected me, and what kind of rules that I had come up with, and what kind of rules I had come up about who I needed to be and what I needed to do, and how I needed to please others in order to be okay, in order to keep these things from happening. So if that's you, if this sounds familiar to you, if you suffer from a fear of an abandonment, of anxiety, of not enoughness, if you're always afraid that people are going to leave you, that they don't love you, and I want to have a conversation with you. I want to talk about these things because I'm making a series of videos. If you haven't watched my other videos, I've talked about different ways that I was punished, the different ways that I was embarrassed, the different ways that I was made to feel shameful, the different ways that I experienced fear. And these were all part of the making of the nice guy. If you haven't read the book, No More Mr. Nice Guy, I highly recommend that you do. I highly recommend you read that book, take note of what stands out to you, and then let's have a conversation about that book. Let's talk about what it is that's bothering you. Let's talk about the way that you feel in your life. Let's talk about some of the thoughts, the beliefs that you have, the stories that you tell yourself, and some of the ways that you want your life, your marriage, your work, your career, your everything to be different. Because I can tell you that for me, when I started doing this work, nothing materially changed outside of me, but what changed inside of me completely shifted my world. I went from being unsettled, anxious, fearful, ashamed, not comfortable in my own skin, to comfortable, calm, confident, grounded, pleased with myself, able to be myself, authentic, honest, genuine. Like these are all the words that we use because these words describe our experience. And that's where I am today. I'm able to stand here in Costa Rica with people walking back and forth in this beautiful park and be able to make this video for you and say these things are important, these moments are important, and I want to have a conversation with you. I want to invite you into a phone call where you're going to tell me what's going on, what's bothering you. I'm going to listen, ask some clarification questions so that you can get some clarity about your thoughts, your beliefs about the experiences that you've had, beliefs about the experience that you're having right now, and be able to point to resources, be able to share my own experiences with you, be able to share insights with you that men have shared with me in my work with coaching with men, and be able to come up with a game plan for you about what happens next, where you want to go from here, who you want to be, what you want to do, what you want to experience, who you want to spend time with, and for it to be okay for you to be you, so that you can come home to you, so that you can be whole and healthy and happy. That's the conversation I want to have with you. So there's a link in the description. You can pick a day and time that works best for you for that phone call. And until then, be kind to yourself, brother, and I'll talk to you soon.